Welcome to the Make Space for Growth podcast. My name is Sara Vicente Barreto, and I'm your host. I'm a corporate strategist, problem solver, social entrepreneur, writer, mom of two, and passionate for growth, at home, in business, or in my community. I'm excited about our guest today. I first met Alicia in a mentoring session, and I really enjoyed her passion for the business she was creating, bringing her corporate and engineering lens into the wellness business. The Make Space for Growth podcast amplifies the voices of women entrepreneurs and leaders, celebrating the strength and resilience it takes to thrive in both business and life. I believe women can be at the forefront of shaping industries with journeys of adaptability, bold decisions, and perseverance. This is a story to be heard and recognized. This podcast embraces the full self because true success extends to the professional and the personal. By sharing these stories, we hope to inspire and reshape the narrative around leadership. I want to welcome Alicia Vivanco to the podcast. Alicia is the CEO and founder of Holos. She is an industrial engineer from the University of Lima and a health coach certified by the Institute for Integrative Nutrition in New York. She is the proud winner of Escuela Imparables and Startup Peru twice. Alicia was recognized among the top 5 women entrepreneurs in Peru by Swiss Contact. She is also an ambassador of Prom Peru and Jóvenes que Inspira, and she is, as you will hear, passionate about wellness and technology. She founded Holo, a corporate wellness platform that connects employees with physical and mental health resources, enhancing both employee well-being and company productivity. I am delighted to be welcoming Alicia today at the podcast. Welcome to the Make Space for Growth podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor.
Alicia, I always like to start with a little bit of a background question. So before we go and talk business, what was your favorite thing to do as a child and what did you want to be when you grew up?
I've been a child that has been always into sports. So I was a tennis player, then I was at volleyball, and finally, I end up by dancing. I was the national winner of folklore, which is a type of dance in Peru. And what I wanted to be when I grow up, I wanted to be a professional dancer. That was my dream. I wanted to perform out for big stars. Like I dream I was at some point I was going to be performing at stadios and something like that. And I think that yes. So I think I always been into very active person, even when I was a child, and somehow I managed to do the same, I think so, but in different ways now that I'm an adult.
Yeah, I mean, you're not performing in big stadiums, but who knows where this venture is going to take you? And you are performing on a few stages whenever you have to pitch, and so there's some similarities, but no doubt the fitness element and the wellness element can be related, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So you want to be a professional dancer, then you go study engineering and go work at IBM, right? And so
Yes.
that's totally reasonable. And then you end up in business with fitness and nutrition. Tell me, how did
Yes.
the prior experience, how did you end up in engineering, I guess? And then how did the engineering lead you to actually become an entrepreneur, which you are today?
I think that, I've always loved this type of lifestyle, since ever a child, right? So, but then I had some rough moments in my personal life when I was growing up that made me realize that was my passion. So that's one thing, right? The other is that when I was at IBM and in my professional life, in career and in engineering, like I always been very curious. Like I love to fix things. I love to learn more. That feeling that you are like a beginner or something. I love the fact that I am a beginner at something and I can master the next level and the next level and the next level. So that's kind of the way that I believe now, that it's related to my background, the way I am, the way it relates to engineering, and then becoming a founder. Like it's kind of the same, but in a different way, right? Like because right away, like I'm engineering, but in wellness and with people, and always try to improve not only, I mean, other people's life and impact other people's life, but also as a company, right? So I think that's the way it's related. Um, from my background to now.
Yeah, and I guess in a way you're always fixing problems still, right? Because
Yes.
when you're an entrepreneur, there's never a shortage of any problems to solve.
Yes.
What inspired you to found Holos, and what was the personal or professional moment that kind of nudged you and sent you towards this kind of wellness centered business?
It all became on my own problems. It all began on, I mean, I've been, like you said, I've been many years at IBM, and I realized that the moment that I had no tools at that moment to manage my personal things, like my personal health problems. But I was very lucky to find out something that made me stay in the healthy path, right? So that that made me realize that I could do more with my knowledge, and more than my knowledge, because that's something that has been developing over the years, but with my with my grit, right? With the passion that I have, that I can find out something that works for now. My mission is to help millions of people that are struggling to balance their healthy lifestyle. So that's how it's related.
You identified the problem that you suffered from, and naturally, as a fixer, you went on and found a solution
Yeah.
to solve it. Can you maybe tell us and those that don't know what is Holo's mission and kind of what makes it different in the wellness space?
I mean, our mission is to help people feel better, because people that feel better can work better and can provide more to their life and the environment they live. Like when you feel well, then you can provide that to the world, to your world, and that becomes like a huge ecosystem, right? So that's the main reason holos exist. And how we do it different is that we provide not experiences that live in the digital world but can feel real. You can go in person to different experiences such as yoga, massage, and also you can combine that with online experiences that can help you, such as psychologist, a nutritionist. So that way we combine like both in-person and digital experiences. That's something very unique, because we combine this with a community that it's always thriving. So you can not only improve your health, but you can also find peers in the professional world, and I mean corporate people that are in the same stage as you, that have this lack of time, that want to improve, that have a family. It feels like a huge community that you cannot find anywhere else, right? So that's one of the things that makes Holos unique. We are able to create this experience that you cannot find anywhere else.
And I see how the community element, especially in corporate, can be very differentiated, and I'm sure over time you've had a few trials and errors, and startups often evolve, right?
Yeah.
And so have you had maybe a few major turns or like small pivots since the inception, that you could share with us, and maybe how you've navigated those decisions?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like, first of all, Holos now is fully B2B. We go now directly with companies, but we began as B2C. We began working only with people, right? Direct to consumer. So when we had this experience, we learned how to get people in love with healthy lifestyle. So this was the first pivot to going from to direct to consumer to then direct to companies and then employees. The second one is that we also began with only fitness. You can only go to fitness centers, gyms, yoga, right, swimming classes. But then we pivot into more holistic experiences with mental health and emotional health and nutritionist. Um, I think that aha moments we found out like talking with people, like getting to really understand what they are struggling with, and learning that if we want to make this experience very, I mean, different from other competitors or from other platforms that exist, we have to do something that's unique, that sometimes you cannot touch, like intangible, right? But you have to be able to feel. So that's one of the main pivots we have done.
And maybe, I mean, they're both big. One is more evolution, another one is a big pivot when you move from B2C to B2B. I wonder if you can maybe walk us through what made you get to that decision and how you've had to readjust, right? Because that is an entire new way of looking at business and organizing yourself as well in terms of sales and lead times. How did
Yes.
that shift happen?
It happened when we almost went to bankrupt. How do you say this in English? Sorry.
Bankrupt.
Uh, Bankrupt. Thank you. Among COVID. So when COVID came, we have never raised money. We were bootstrapped all the way. We have all of our savings into Holos, and we realized that we have to find a way that not only works in this moment, the crisis that we were living, but for the future, right? Because I mean, when we founded Holos, it was always thinking in a medium term company. We know we wanted to do this for years, but saying that is that when we made this transition was because also people, I mean companies, were touching our knocking our doors saying like, I would love to have this for my employees. So it was a very organic decision, when because companies started to wanted this for their employees. So that's when we realized that this could be interesting, right? So we I mean we were in a crisis moment, but also we were open to the new opportunities that came out, because companies, like I said, they were saying like, I would love this for my employees. So that's the main moment that we decided, okay, let's shift. And I, like you said, it was not just a simple decision like, let's go to companies. It was very, very hard. So we have to restructure the company. We have to, like, new people in the team, areas, whole areas in holes that we wouldn't need anymore. Process that we have to dismiss, and new process that we have to have. So it was very painful moment that now we realize was the right decision. But it was a transition from team and processes, finance, the way we communicate, the way we make marketing. It was a huge transition.
Yeah, and I figure that's why I asked you to go a bit deeper into it, right? Because it's
Yes.
sometimes it seems very easy and we pivot here and we pivot there, and it's all a
Yes.
bit of a product, I guess, in a way. Your stars kind of aligned between the crisis and the clients actually wanting you to do something different. But obviously then everything that is in the background needs to evolve as well. And
Yes.
and that leads me maybe a little bit to my next question, because obviously as a CEO, you're kind of managing all these things, right? You're managing what is the vision, where is the clients, markets, or partnerships that I need to develop, or how I'm going to organize my team and my content, and so how do you balance the mix of being kind of very hands-on day to day, which I'm sure you are, within the bigger picture of, hang on, is this working? How are we going to solve this crisis? Or where are we going next? How do you balance those two?
First of all, I don't think there's a perfect balance, but what I do is I try to focus and prioritize. So I think that my role as a founder and as a CEO, I have three, right? So the first one is sales, but not only sales for the companies, but sales to my own team. I mean, our vision, to other companies, to as a brand. But so sales is one of my biggest priorities. The second one is my team, of course. Or I think I would start with my team is the first priority, and then sales, and then of course not running out of cash, like a lot of people say. But I think that those are my biggest priorities, and the way that I balance it is I mean I love to plan. I am a planner. I That's something that suits me well, and I love to have like the big picture of it. So it depends on what our as on our strategy. It depends on the goals that we do have. Sometimes the goals are like for a single day, so the goal of the day, but I try to have it for weeks and for months and for years. So whenever I use my time on, I'm always like, it's a mantra for me, like always asking, is this that I'm going to do is going to help us to reach our goals? I mean, and if the answer is no, I don't do it. That's something I've been managing over the time, and improving, because sometimes it's not easy to say no, but that's something that I have a lot of discipline right away, because I realize over the time that the more I say no to things that are not aligned with our mission, with our, I mean, duties, with my duty as a CEO, the better results the company have. And that's a culture also that's going with the whole team, right? So what I do, it's always reflecting on my team. So that's something that's the way I balance. I don't think I have to balance, right? I think
That's
you
a
only
strong
can
word.
prioritize. Yes, it's a strong word, but that's the way I manage it.
Yeah. And so we spoke a little bit about pivoting and about what it took, and I guess also how you manage the pressures of the day to day between all the different things you're looking at. What do you feel have been the biggest challenges as you've built this company, either from the business side or personally? What really do you feel like you look back and you say, wow, I made it through that?
Oof, that's an amazing question. I believe the one of the hard. I mean, there's a lot of difficult times, right? But I think that, like, no matter the noise, no matter how hard things, I think that we were able to keep going. Um, I mean, we had very, very rough moments, like I told you, that COVID time when we have no salary for 4 months, the founders. Then we have another crisis, and then I think that managing that with like always keeping the team in the middle, in the center as our priority was one of the hardest things. And somehow we manage and we thrive over those difficult times. Like, I think that the most difficult part is to manage the emotional ride of those moments, but keep it focused and keep it. I mean, keeping the calm in the storm. I think the word the most difficult times, but once you manage your emotions, try to separate. I believe that I keep it rational, but also at the same time not, because you must be crazy sometimes to keep going when things do not look good. So I believe that's the thing that I would say right away, that wow, we thrive over this.
No, that's great. And let's maybe step a bit back from the philosophical and into the more practical, because it's, I think we're trying to bring both here today. But
Okay.
when we talk here, we always I lately I've always been trying to bring a little bit of AI and technology into the podcast, and how people are thinking about it, and how they're bringing into their business, how they're building their business around it, whether it's at the core of the product or it's to support their team or their clients. Can you maybe talk a little bit about how you are thinking about it?
Yes, I believe that AI is going to make our company, thinking out ourselves, 10 times bigger with 5 times less people. Um, like executing every day. And so I believe that the impact we might have in our users experience, our partners experience, it's going to be huge. So the way we are integrating right away are in our operations, right? So we're making tasks that were very repetitive in finance. We're improving that, for example, like consolidating our accounts. Another way we are using it is, of course, for marketing. Creating our content, but creating, all the, not only the scripts, but the whole strategy. So our marketing team is a very small team, but they are doing like amazing things in our marketing side with AI. And this almost the third one we are using is our in our ops, right? Our operation. We have a little bit complex operation in Holos, because a step back is what we do in operation side is that we manage thousands of bookings of our users, Holos users, to hundreds of fitness centers, coaches, and nutritionists. So you can imagine the volume and the data we are processing all the time. So we are using AI also to understand and predict better which are the location we have to put new partners in. Also, which are the partners that we can negotiate a little bit better. Our the fees, or improve the fee actually also. So that's the way we're using AI right away in our operation, in our company. And then we have the other side, right? We have this side, that we are creating actually right away, in that tech side, a solution for our users, that can also help them get deeper into their health, with a data-driven perspective. That's what can I say for now. But I believe it's something that's going to be, very the day and night for our users, and it's something that they are asking all the time. So I will. So just those are just some examples, but I believe that AI is going to be make Holos much bigger with, in a shorter time, and I'm so excited about that.
Thanks for sharing that. And I know you can't share all of it, but it does sound exciting, and maybe takes me to my next question, which is, what are your plans for the future of Holos, and what does success look like for you?
I love the question. I believe that, for Holos, the next step it will be to keep growing, but now growth in other geos rather than where we are right away, which are Peru and Mexico. So we want to grow to another geos, create this product that I just told you that it's on the backlog. I believe that, integrating this new product that we are about to launch, and it's not a new product, it's a new feature. This new feature with what we already have and the geo are what we're going to do for the next month, and even we have a 3-year plan for this. What success looks like for Holos? We have a number in our head on how many millions of people we want to reach, but not only a number that it's a little cold, but the way, a number that we can know how much impact we're having in the people's life, right? For us, our main number, our main KPI is usage. So if a user use Holos, as it sounds, for us, they are already having they are already working on their wellness, right? So not how many people we are reaching, that's success for us. For us, this number we have in our head is how many people is using Holos and what it comes with it, right? All the
Yeah.
work we have with it. So for us, that's success. We really like generally want people to use Holos, to use wellness in their life, to improve their life, have these tools at their hand to feel better when sometimes life gets messy, and to have, of course, this energy to they can reach their goals. Because I think at it all, it all came out to energy. So if you have energy, you can reach whatever goal you have, and you can pass through any obstacle you have in your life. So that's how success looks for us. Holos helping these people have the energy, and yes, we do have a number in our heads of what we want to reach.
Thank you for sharing that, and maybe that can get us now to the executive Alicia, and looking at the stages of your career, right? What has something that's been consistently you in your style,
In my style, do you mean
in the
I
way
mean
you
as
work?
in the way I work? I believe I am so persistent, like like I have consistency, yeah, right, like you can have sometimes periods in your life that you are in up, you're down, yeah, you're in the middle. I think I mean, for all the years I have been entrepreneur, I keep consistency, like even in the personal moments that I just became a mom. For example, I have a twins, 4 month baby twins, and even in that moments that weren't easy, like I keep consistent. So I believe that I'm a leader, I am a founder, that no matter how noisy or messy life gets, I mean, you can have a bump over there, but I will keep going. Maybe not as fast as 1 month before, maybe not when I was at the hospital giving birth, as they would do that, but I would keep like the most consistent I can, right? So I think that's something that's been in my whole career. Like I can slow down for a crisis moment, but I won't stop. That's something that I think that will keep going. It's how I am. I always want to improve, like always. I always believe that we have opportunity to improve. If I ever believe that I are in my top, then I would like, okay, that's it. No, I always believe that we can do more.
And yeah, I think you mentioned the word grit very early in the podcast, and that probably defines it very specifically. The consistency that then you achieve with it. What about as a leader? And you spoke about your team already. What what do you see the main characteristics that you, Alicia, have as a leader, and maybe how that's evolved over the years and over periods of crisis?
Yeah, so I believe that I am a leader that I listen. I listen. I do really always want to understand what's on people's mind, what they are not saying, but they are thinking. So I think I'm a leader that understands, or try to understand other people. I'm always trying to integrate people's communication and people's work. I think that I have a very integrative role in trying to put all the different profiles of people together. And I think also provide trust in people. Like not only my professional as a leader, but I have always long relationships, like long time relationships, and that's something I keep also as a leader, like people that, I mean, that gets into holos, I keep the relationship even if they are not a holos anymore, right? So I think a very people person, in terms that I really try to create good relationships in all of kind of my of my life, right? In all part of my life. I also believe that I believe that people have to be a good person first, then you are a good professional. Not in a different way. Like, I really believe in values as a people, as a person. um and also, I think I try to be what I say is what I do, and I try that to people do the same, right? I don't like people that say something and do another. So that's, I mean, that's getting back into consistency. I like people to be consistent. I think I'm a leader that I'm consistent, and I like to do the same with the people that I work with. um so I think that's me as a leader, right? I like to inspire, rather than to demand, right? I like people to do things by their own, because I can inspire them to do that, but not because I obligate, or yeah, other person. um I think that's me as a leader.
Yeah, and so what do you find is the most challenging part of your role today?
That's a good question. The most difficult right away is to, I think it would be hard people, hard because we are hiring right away, like several positions, but hard people that can fit into our culture. That's one of the main challenge I have right away. Because for us, I mean, for me as a leader, when you get into holos as yes, as a worker, you have to genuinely want to provide wellness, right? So it's kind of challenging right away, trying to find people that it's prepared professionally and have this desire to impact with wellness the world. And the second one is to also, it's all about the team also, because I believe that we are in holosis in the moment that I believe we are in a moment that we are getting to the next level, right? So the people that it's right away in our team, they also have to evolve. So right now I am trying to see how I can help them evolve into this new phase or era for holos.
What would be the most significant leadership lesson that you've learned along the way?
I think that it would be that you can not always be the same type of leader. Sometimes the company will need you to be a type of leader that say, this is what we're going to do, right? For example, in crisis, right? You cannot always like hear opinions of everyone else. Sometimes you have to say, okay, this is the
Do
way
it.
and we're going to do it. And then you can, another time of the company when we are more relaxed and we have like great numbers, you can say, okay, let's hear out what we're going to do, let's plan it together. So I believe that one of the biggest lessons that I have received and I have been managing as a leader is to try to adequate, right? Try be the leader that the company needs at certain times. And it does not look the same from time to time. So I
Yeah.
have to be flexible, right? So that's the biggest lesson I've learned.
Yeah. And so you already spoke about being a good person before being a good professional. And so maybe let's move to Alicia the person. how does a good day look like for you? What's kind of the day that ends up and you're like, yeah, that was nice, and you feel fulfilled?
Like I tell you, I'm a mom. I'm a recent mom. I'm a new mom, mom of twins. So for the way I believe is that I'm keeping some time off from my kids, right? So my kids don't see their mom like several hours of the day. So for me, a good day is that even when I come home and I am with my kids, I really believe, okay, that that was worth it. Why? Because I made thousands of users happier, healthier companies with better cultures. When we have like good results, tangible results, and then I come home and I say it was worth it, and my kids are going to be like proud of their mom at some point of their life. So that's a good day for me. But when I come home, for example, and I didn't, I haven't seen like results, or I haven't seen the progress, more than results, because results that comes, but progress, that's when I do not feel good, right? I always like to progress, even it's 1%. I want to see something to improve. I want something that was done, something that was created, right? So a good day for me is going home and say it was worth it, the time that I put into the company. My kids will be okay with that. They can deal with that, right?
And you spoke a little bit about, we spoke about the the balance which doesn't exist within the job. And then you now spoke about being a recent mom, and obviously you're building this business, trying to go international. How do you create space for you so that you re-energize and you recharge your batteries and make sure that you're making everyone else feel better as well?
I have non-negotiables. I do my journal. I do journaling. Whatever. I mean, I can be like super busy, but I have to write it down on my journal to clear my mind. The second thing is that also I have to work out. I mean, make exercise right now that I'm postpartum, right? I cannot be as such an intense like I was before, but I do it 3 times per week right away, and that's no negotiable. Like even is I have to move my agenda because that's the time I need to get more energy and to know, I mean, get it too crazy into this company and my personal life, right? So I think I am very I have a lot of discipline to separate what I need to do in my personal life to have more energy, because I believe that it's like a car, right? Like if I don't put gas on it, I will stop working. So for me, putting gas, putting my doing my journaling, doing meditations, doing my workout, it's something I need, and the word is need, right, to keep going. I am I would stop anything to do that because it's what we need. It's what I need to in order to keep going.
And so, as one last big question, if you could go back and talk to your younger self, just kind of starting your career, maybe starting off at IBM, what advice would you have given her?
I would give an advice to learn more, learn faster, and keep your network very close on you. Like, uh, keep. I mean, know people that already achieve what you would want it, what in life in your future, and stick to them, like to learn from them. That's something I would do if I were younger and I was at IBM. I had so much opportunity at IBM, having all these C-level people, like this huge executive, and I would, now that I say, wow, I had this opportunity to have all these people like in an email, in a chat at IBM. Why I didn't talk to them at that time? Now I can do it, but now it's, hi, I'm a former IBM, but I was an IBMer. So why I wasn't like talking to these people and stick to them to learn from them, right?
That's a good one that we often underestimate, and we always say, "Oh, tomorrow is a good day as well." But sometimes it's got to be in the now, and to do it
Yes.
then. So I finish us off with some three quick questions, which kind of just the first thing that comes to mind. Is there a book that you'd like to share with us, or recommend that you're reading right now, or that particularly you enjoyed in the past?
I really enjoy the minimalism. Yeah, so that's a book that I really enjoy for an entrepreneur that really wants to I keep focusing on the simple things and what works out, right? Yeah, I really enjoy that.
Cool. And do you have a quote that you particularly like to follow?
Yes, and I have this in my office, which says, "Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you land among the stars."
Yeah, I like that one. I have a few posters with it. And finally, do you have a word of the year?
Yes. I mean, I have a phrase that I always say to myself, to my team, is the best is yet to come.
I think that's a perfect one to close us off. Thank you so much for being part of the Make Space for Growth podcast. It was a pleasure to hear you and to know more about Holos and what it's trying to do, affecting the lives of millions of people, and to really get to know you as well, and your new life as a mom of twins and CEO of an internationally going company. So thank you for the time. I appreciate it, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Sarah. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
I really enjoyed meeting Alicia for this wonderful chat today. An engineer by training, Alicia is on a mission to really change people's lives through wellness. As she was talking, I kept jotting down notes of things that she said that really caught my attention. How the more she said no, the better results the company was getting. And also about her resilience and how she described it as something that she would slow down, but she would never stop. What was your favorite part of the conversation? Did you take any good lessons today? Do share your thoughts. If you liked today's episode, be sure to share it and drop a review. That helps more people get inspired by these conversations. Thank you for listening to the Make Space for Growth podcast. And until we meet again, I get to do this.